Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot and a member of the PMDG 737 technical team. Today let's fly the brand new PMDG 737-800 for Flight Simulator 2024 from IndyBuild's new Manchester scenery over to La Palma in the Canary Islands for a lovely NDB approach over there. Now this is going to be an interesting one as it will feature quite a couple of the new navigation systems of the aircraft. And of course we are once again seeing a completely different cockpit layout than what we've seen in our first flight. So follow me inside. We are using the 189 cabin layout today because, well, TUI has that installed in their aircraft, and then we can get right down and take a seat in the 737. But let's go ahead and start with the safety setup. So we do have the ground power available today. Then we've got the fire tests, which are looking good. The temperature outside is 13 degrees, so it's kind of fine to do this without air conditioning for the moment at least. So that's looking good. Then we can do the fire test. As you can see, we do have the new transponder installed in this aircraft down here. So that's just one of the many new options that we got in this one. Now let's continue with our setup over here. So flight recorder is looking good. Clackers are looking good. Then let's turn the ADRs to nav and all the rest is set. Alright, then we can take a seat in our plane over here and start with a little bit of a setup. So let's start by going into the electronic flight bag and requesting our nav data from SimBrief. And this is what it looks like. So let's start with the weather, or actually let's start with the airport charts down here. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, quite a bit of icing here in the United Kingdom. Also turbulence all the way from level 160 to level 360. Or actually level 380, so suppose it's going to be a little bit bumpy until we've crossed the English Channel. Thereafter things are going to calm down on the rest of our way. Now going into the weather. Manchester itself 190 at 9, gust 19, 12 degrees, QNH 988. But La Palma, absolutely beautiful weather conditions for an approach to runway 36. Our alternate in Tenerife has some temporary weather here within our arrival time. 08020 gust 30, so that one may not be that suitable, so let's go ahead and take fuel from Gran Canaria. So looking that one up then, let's go all the way up here and find the alternate airports. So here it is, Gran Canaria, fuel 1900, so we basically need, well, what's that? About 600 more than the planned fuel. So that's 13.9 plus 600 leads us to 14.5, and that's what we are going to load. Let's go down and weight and balance, load plane from SimBrief, and then we can take 14,500, and that covers us for the diversion to Gran Canaria if it becomes required. Alright, perfect. So that's our EFB done for the initial part of the setup. Then let's move to the EFIS. We want to be sure that we've got terrain selected on both sides up here. Then we can do our oxygen test. And as we can see, the pressure is normal. Okay, beautiful. So now let's go down into our FMS and we will start right down on the data link. So ATS, and we're looking for Echo Golf Charlie Charlie today, and we can send that request. I am using my WinWing CDU here to do my inputs, just in case you are wondering. So while we're waiting, let's go for the departure airports here, and we need our Manchester charts for both the airport as well as the parking stands. Now here's the ATIS at 950 Zulu, which is just 9 minutes old, beautiful. Departing 23 left, 170 at 8, couple of clouds, QNH 999R4. Alright, like that. Good, so we got that. Then we also need the SID, which is the Cook Someone Yankee departure, which we've got over here. Alright, and now let's start getting to work. So FMC 737-800 with split scimitar winglets, 26K rating, and nav database is up to date. Then we can take the GPS left position, and now let's go ahead and request our route from SimBrief. So Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray, that's a small change by the way from the previous version. The previous one incorrectly uploaded the flight number. The latest version now correctly uplinks the call sign. Okay, and load that route please. Thank you. Uplink loading does take a little while. In the meantime, let's get up here. So we're going from Echo Golf Charlie Charlie to Golf Charlie Lima Alpha, Tango Oscar Mike 4 Delta X-ray. Now it looks like the routing is here, so let's go Manchester 23 left, Cookson 1 Yankee, and then for the arrival we're looking for an NDB approach, runway 36, and we got the Conbar for Victor arrival. So let's have a look at this. Well, right now I'm just checking for anything that looks unusual. So that one leads us to Araco. Interestingly enough, we did not have the Araco transition available. And I wonder why that is. Do we have it here? No, we don't. Okay. So then we're just going to keep the NDB 36 like that. And let's just have a look into what we got down here. So Araco is what we got, and then we are going right onto the final. Okay, that's fine with me. Alright, cool. Then let's continue on. So activate, and next page, index, performance, cost index 15, reserve fuel is 2.5, our zero fuel weight 60.2, cruising in flat level 360. So top of climb wind is 235 at 68. Temperature up there, ISA -4, so that's -60 degrees. Transition altitude 5001. So noise abatement procedure on a wet runway number 2, backup 1500, looks good. Okay, beautiful. So for the fixed page we'll just take Manchester with a 25 mile. Oh, I must have... No, it's in there. Okay. So Manchester 25 mile ring, little bug there. Remember, this is recorded using a beta version, so stuff like that can happen. Cool, 250 below 100 is in here, and that's everything we can do for the time being. We are going to get back to checking everything when we are in the actual departure briefing. So then, let's start with our flight deck inspection. And yeah, I am kind of doing this one at the pace at which I do this in the real world, because this video isn't exactly meant as a tutorial, but much rather as a demonstration of what the PMDG aircraft can do here. So, kind of feels right to do this at the correct realistic pace, doesn't it? Okay, flight level 360, field elevation, we got 200, right igniter. So, flight directors are coming on, and now things are getting interesting. The initial climb will be 5,000. So 5-1 until clearance is received. But now let's go ahead and have a look. Okay, so straight ahead until 3.2 DME Manchester, right turn 283. Then join the radial 253 outbound Manchester. So we got 253 and Manchester 1355. That's going active, and then at 12 DME we join the radial 215 outbound from Pole Hill. So 215 and Pole Hill is 12-1. And that's also going active. Good. Now we got them both, and finally we can just quickly go for the approaches here. Manchester, ILS 23 right, might as well pre-select the ILS frequencies, 109.5. Like that, beautiful. Okay, finally we need the runway track, which is 232. Alright, like that. Perfect, and that's our MCP set up. Now let's continue on the main panel here. Fuel flow reset, oil quantity is fine, and the system display is fine. That's all looking good. Park and brake is set. Then we do need a couple of ground charts here. So 21855. And tower on 1863. Like that. Alright, radios are already set. Audio control panel is set. Weather and turbulence is selected. Transponder goes into above. Number 1 is selected. And that's all looking good. And on the right hand side, that stuff is also set. Finally, we do need 1 to 1.5. Like that. Alright, perfect. And that's our aircraft setup completed. So let's just quickly do the light test. And that is fantastic. Very good. Alright, then we're done with the setup. Almost at least. MFRA 1250. Since the terrain around Manchester, at least on the extended center line, is pretty much flat, we can take the MFRA as just 1,000 above field elevation. But, you could calculate it using Virtual Performance Tool if you wanted to. Okay, so that one is supposed to be on 90904, and that's it. Beautiful, so that's our setup completed. Then let's go for the departure briefing, please. So, threats for the departure, honestly, I don't really see any. So, route check. Echo Golf Charlie Charlie to Golf Charlie Lima Alpha, Tango Oscar Mike 4 Delta X-Ray, and our route is going to be via Cooksam, Papa 17, Bapi, direct OSEP, direct Elnif, direct Saspi, direct Klaki, Salco, Kok, Korul, Aspor, Gamzu, Ulvot, Bexal, Upper November 866 Konba for an arrival 1,711 miles versus 1,713 miles. Fuel remaining 3.9, fuel required 2.5, giving us a good half an hour extra. Time UTC 10:07, altimeter 90904, reading 250, MFA 1250. Flight directors are on, mine is master, and the standby instruments are set. It's going to be a lefty takeoff, runway 23 left, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2 with a buck up in 1500, but we will be using VNAV for today's takeoff. Emergencies, as briefed in the crew room. For the pushback, it's going to be to the right-hand side, and they will pull us forward a bit, so we can delay the engine start somewhat. Later on taxi, probably going to be somewhere down here, crossing a runway, and then eventually to runway 23 left, where the crossing of 23 right is basically the hotspot we've got for today's taxi. Our sit is the Cooksam 1 Yankee departure, and if we do have a look into that one, it goes straight at to 3.2 DME Manchester, then track 283 to intercept radial 253 outbound Manchester VOR to 8 DME between 2.5 and 5,000, which is covered down here. Then we got 12 DME Manchester, where we make the left-hand turn onto a 215 track, crossing 34 DME Pole Hill in 5,000, which we got in here, and thereafter on a 215 2 miles towards Cooksam, which we got in here. Any questions? No? Beautiful, then that is our briefing completed. So let's go ahead and call out for our IFR clearance. So, data link, ATIS was information Kilo. So, no, not ATIS, but departure clearance, Echo Golf Charlie Charlie. Stand is... where are we? 105. And we have ATIS Kilo, good afternoon. Okay, and sent. So the clearance request is out, and while we're waiting for the clearance, let's do the safety inspection checklist and before start checklist down to PA, please. Surfaces and shocks checked, maintenance status checked, batteries on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, ship's library checked, IRS mode selectors, nav, gear pins 1 and 3 removed, probe covers 1 and 3, 4, 5 removed, light test checked, oxygen test 100%, yaw damper on, nav transfer display switches, normal and auto, fuel, 14.5 required, 14.5 on board, and 6 pumps on. Cabin utility IV galley power on, emergency exit lights on, fast modes on, window heat on, aircon and press, PAX auto bleeds on set, pressurization mode selector auto, instruments cross-checked, auto brake, RTO, hydraulics, normal, speed brakes, down attend, parking brake set, step cutter switches normal, wheel by fire warning checked, radius, radar and transponder set standby, radar and aileron trims 3 and 0, takeoff briefing, disgusting, and holding at the PA. So we're still waiting for the clearance to arrive. Let's make some good use of that time and actually say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Thompson and Tui, I would like to welcome you all on board our Boeing 737-800 on our flight to La Palma in the Canary Islands. Today's flight time is going to be 4.5 hours and we're expecting a mostly smooth flight after some initial turbulences, which should clear out once we're passing the English Channel. For the time being, thank you very much for being on board. Sit back, relax and enjoy the trip with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew members. Alright, so new messages. What's that? Clearance being processed, and here it is. Cleared to La Palma via Cook 71 Yankee departure. Expect runway 23 left, which is both confirmed. Maintain 5,000 feet. And then departure 135.005. Which I will just quickly tune over here. Alright, and squawk 6343. And here we go. Wilco, send, accepting, and send. Beautiful. Very nice. Then let's go for our takeoff performance figures. So, starting with a zero fuel weight of 60.2, which is exactly what we had also planned. Gross weight 74.8, which matches, and then we can go down, takeoff CG 23. So let's go into the performance tool here, Manchester 23 left, and it's wet runway. Takeoff weight is 74,800. CG we said is going to be 23. Now let's see about our weather. So wind 170 at 8. The temperature today is 11 degrees, so that means no anti-ice needed, and the QNH 90904. Calculate. So takeoff 1 at 31 degrees. Here we got a takeoff 1 and 31. 92.7, which is a little bug right now. You can see right now we don't have any APU running, so there is no pressure in the bleed air system, and then it should show you 0.8% more in the thrust rating in the FMS. So that's a little bug. Alright, anyway, flaps 5 takeoff, CG 23 giving us 5.7 units trim, and the takeoff speeds 142, 150, 155. Those are all within 1 knots, then we can take the FMS speeds. Okay, beautiful. So, 155. Like that. And here we go, that's our setup completed. So let's start the APU. In the meantime, GSX, prepare position for pushback and departure please. Release ground power, no, definitely not yet. Okay, cool. Ground from flight deck. So please confirm that all the doors and hatches are closed and that you are removing, or that you're still keeping the ground power, please. We'll call you back as soon as the APU is running. Alright, thanks. Great, so we got that stuff out of the way, then let's actually go ahead and start to prepare ourselves for the pushback. So complete the checklist, please. PA complete, FMC CDU set, M1 and ES bugs, auto, reduce 24K, speeds 42, 50, 54. Set. Stop trim 5.7 set. Performance weight imbalance sign sent. Phones off. EFB. Airplane mode stilled. Flight windows and cockpit door. Are locked. Doors closed. Passengers seated. B4 start checklist complete down to the line. Okay, ground. Now you can remove all the equipment. So release power and the parking brake is set. Remove chocks, please. Alright then, let's call for pushback clearance. What's our call sign again? 4 Delta X-ray. Now the only question, why is my headset telling me that it's not doing anything? Standby 1. Manchester ground, Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray, request pushback and startup. It will be a standard jet pushback, can tell you that much already. And actually no response from ATC there. Let's just restart, say intentions in the background. I have a feeling. Let's see, frequency is correct. We are on VHF 1, that's selected active. Manchester ground, Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray, request pushback and startup. Alright, now we're ready. This time it also worked. I probably left the app running for a little bit too long.
Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray, pushback and startup approved. Face southwest.
Pushback and startup approved facing southwest, Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray. B4 start checklist below the line, air complex off, anti-collision on, parking brake set, transponder alt off, B4 start checklist complete. Ground flight deck. So, please confirm that all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed and bypass pin is installed. All confirmed, Captain. Roger, then we clear the push and the parking brake is released. Thank you, start on the pushback, stand by for engine start. Roger. And here we go. Is this the hair of the wing walker? That's the hair of the wing walker, isn't it? What the hell is GSX doing again? Alright, so here's the tuck release point, then we can go ahead and start the engines now. So, ground flight deck, starting engine 2. Clear 2. So, as you can see, Thompson has the microphone button fitted to the glare shield, but not the clock button, which is also an option available in the PMDG now. So, N2, oil pressure, N1. Here's 25%. So they're pulling us forward to the tuck release point now. Starter cutout, monitor 2, starting 1. Ground flight deck, starting engine 1. Clear 1. Engine 1 start. And 2. So at about 20% we'll get oil pressure. Now flight ground, pushback completed, set brakes. Brake set. And N1. So as you can see, with the new 737 for FS 2024, you can really time your engine starts quite a bit later than what you were used to from previous versions. Starter cutout, monitor 1, and number 1 is stable. So let's already get that chart open. There's the tuck. No anti-ice required today. And that's the ramp agent holding a pin. Beautiful. So, flight controls. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Before taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe heat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, packs auto, bleeds on, isolation off, auto, flaps. 5 required, 5 selected, and a green light. Spectrum 6.7 required set, start leaves idle 10, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete.
Runway 23 left taxi via Echo Quebec, Echo Delta Palma, hold short of runway 23 right, then Delta Zulu, Tango Scandinavia 540.
Tom Jet 4 Delta X-ray request taxi. Tom Jet 4 Delta X-ray, taxi to runway 23 left via Zulu Orange, Zulu, Echo, Quebec, Echo, Delta, Papa, hold short runway 23 right, thereafter Delta, Zulu and Tango. Alright, so that was a complicated instruction. So we got Zulu Orange, Zulu, Echo, it goes all the way down here onto Echo, then we have a little bit of Quebec. Oh, they want us to go over here. Okay, so Echo, Quebec, Echo, Papa, Delta, which is that part, and then Papa to hold short. Okay, complicated taxi, but I think we'll be able to get there. Right side is clear, left side is clear, brakes released, config. Then let's go. So we're pretty heavyweight, so it does start to move at about 35% N1, but you can go up to 40, which is the maximum taxi N1. Some very light rain here, that doesn't really require any wipers. We calculated wet runway, so that is fine. Okay. So everything is clear on the left side. I gotta say, I really like the way the apron looks over here. Got a Cathay 350 taxiing there. Nice. Okay, so we're on the orange line. From there we're going to Zulu, Echo, and then down here via Quebec. So let's now move on to the main Zulu. This is really a typical British airport. You can't just build a straight line, you always have to go around corners. I mean, look at this. Perfect for any new captain who's just about learning how to taxi an airplane, but, you know...
Alpine 87, Victor Foxtrot, push and start approved.
Pushback and start approved, Alpine 87, Victor.
Okay, now the showers are moving in, let's put those wipers on. And then we can do the config, please. So, before takeoff checklist down to the line, config checked, flaps 5.5 green light, step trim That's 5.7 set. Takeoff briefing. Left to takeoff, runway 23 left, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, and acceleration at 1500 AGL, which is programmed for the VNAV takeoff. Now we've got nothing special, nothing non-standard. This is going to be PAX auto, bleeds on, anti-ice off, temperature is confirmed as 12 degrees up there. Good. Alright, so slightly left here, we keep following the A350. Huge airplane, isn't it? Okay, so to complete the briefing, straight at 3.2 DME Manchester, right turn 283, intercept radial 253 outbound Manchester, which is tuned on VOR number 1 at 12 DME, left turn 215 outbound Pole Hill. And that's about all there is to this. Okay. And I suppose that's pretty much it. Any questions or suggestions on the briefing? No? Lovely. Cabin? Is secure, and that's the before takeoff checklist complete down to the line. Oh, that was an easy one. Now we are cleared via Quebec. Is that here already? I think it is. Well, that's our chance to overtake the A350. For rather obvious reasons, you would not be doing this in the real world. But in the simulator, you know how it works, don't you? Just gotta be that bit faster. Bye-bye. Okay, so now let's not mess the taxi up here. Next is going to be a Quebec on a Papa. And Papa seems to be to the left. Is that here already? Yeah. I think we picked absolutely fantastic weather here to discover how to taxi on this airport. Because, well, if we can master it this way, then we can master it any other way as well. Alright, so from Papa will be a slight right-hand turn, and then we proceed all the way to the holding point, which is probably over there. So there's an easy coming on the right-hand side. Ryan. No, not right now. Jet 3 Delta Papa, are we in front or behind the EasyJet? Okay, he's stopping.
Jet 4 Delta X-ray. Not clear what you said. Say again.
Disregard. Okay, he stopped. Good. So we are going slightly uphill over here. We're in a pretty heavy aircraft, so 40% N1 absolutely justified here. He is waiting for us. The left side is all clear. Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray, request crossing runway 23 right. Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray, request crossing runway 23 right. Come on ATC, do your job. Okay, thereafter we taxi Delta Zulu and Tango, and then we're at the full length for 23 left. And if he's not going to answer, I will just change over to tower. Manchester Tower, Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray, request crossing runway 23 right. Well, I guess if they don't want to talk to us... What is engine 2 doing? I guess if they don't want to talk to us, we simply do it. So, the left side is clear, and we're clear to cross. Look at how slowly the airplane starts moving when you're going uphill at this weight. That's checked and we're clear to cross. Man, get moving. You're not supposed to taxi at 50%. Okay. So, one EasyJet in front of us at the holding point. The left side is clear. Then we can go straight to the holding point. So we're clear fire Tango.
Delta X-ray, cross runway 23 right approved.
Oh, that just took a little while. Thank you. Crossing 23 right approved, Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray. I suppose better late than never, is it?
Approaching 23 left.
Checked. So, EasyJet is departing. Man, this is some atrocious weather. Gonna make it interesting for the departure. Let's already switch to weather radar here. Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray ready for departure. What is taking ATC so long? Okay, he didn't say it. Runway 23 left, clear for takeoff, Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray. Here we go. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. B4 takeoff checklist below the line, please. MCP, set, transponder, Tara, strobe lights on, landing lights on. Cleared for takeoff, runway 23 left, Tomjet 4 Delta X-ray. Yeah, well, better late than never. Okay, let's make it a rolling takeoff. That looks beautiful with the sun just coming through the clouds. Are you ready? Well, I guess that means yes. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. And wipers off. Checked. No comment.
V1.
Gear up. LNAV. Checked. VNAV. So heading 284. And flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. Flaps up, no lights. After takeoff checklist. Air cannon press. 1.4 climbing set. Holding at altimeters.
Contact departure
135.005 Tom Jet for Delta X-ray. Okay, vertical speed plus 1000. Okay, I tell you what. Command A. Then we have a little free hand here to do all the other stuff. Manchester radar Tomjet for Delta X-ray passing 4,300, climbing 5,000. Climb flight level 100, Tomjet for Delta X-ray. Set, 100 check, VNAV, and Alt Intervent. And here we go. Set standard. Standard cross check, passing flight level 58. Now, and that's the after takeoff checklist complete. Alrighty.
Tomjet for Delta X-ray, climb flight level 230.
Tomjet for Delta X-ray, climbing flight level 230. Set, 230 checked, VNAV. Okay, so we've passed the 12 DME Manchester point. Next is going to be a left turn, radial 215 outbound Pole Hill, which obviously LNAV will be doing automatically here. We no longer need that chrono, we do have the elapsed timer. And, well, that's all we need. So, in the turn, heading to 115.
Delta X-ray, contact command and control on 133.6.
133.6 Tomjet for Delta X-ray. London Control, good morning. Tomjet for Delta X-ray, passing flight level 85, climbing flight level 230. Still, the sit actually looks quite good. Leads us rather nicely around the weather here. Okay. Yeah, you said that. Alright, engine anti-ice on. Tie. Altimeters. Passing level 100, climb level 230, 10 checks. Fuel balanced, 6 pumps on. Lights off, APU off, air cannon press, 3.7 climbing set. Fasten belts remain on for the time being. Recall checked and 1 to 1.5. Monitoring, let's send the notification for CPDLC. So, Tomcat 4 Delta X-ray Manchester to La Palma. Sent. Tie on above 10. That's checked for the time being. Alright, good. Excellent. Then we've done everything we could for the time being. So I'd say sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And then I see you all on the approach to a lovely summer holiday.
If I told you that I'm over it, the gods have decided that I'm a hopeless optimist. You say your heart has had enough, but I do believe there's still some room in there for us. You can return the keys, you can walk out that door. I'll still be living in a dream, like we got years in store. Baby, won't you let me be delusional? I need you to let me be delusional. Stuck in a fiction in which our story never ends. It's not the prescriptions. The truth just needs a little bend. You say your heart has had enough, but I disagree, 'cause I still hear it beat for us. You can return the keys, you can walk out that door. I'll still be living in a dream, like we got years in store. Baby, won't you let me be delusional? I need you to let me be delusional. You can pack up and leave, but I'm keeping my eyes closed. I'll imagine you and me sitting there gray and old. I need you to let me be delusional. Baby, won't you let me be delusional? You can return the keys, you can walk out that door. I'll still be living in a dream, like we got years in store. Baby, won't you let me be delusional? I need you to let me be delusional.
So we're descending towards La Palma and we can start to prepare our airplane for the arrival. In fact, we've basically done all the preparation already, but we can prepare you for the arrival. So there is another ATC message here. Let's quickly see what that is. Cleared combat for Victor, descent level 80. Okay. And set. Flight level 80 checked. Right, beautiful. And then we are getting down to level 100, so let's actually go ahead and terminate the data link connection here. Perfect. Alright, perfect. Then we've done all that stuff, and one more message, which is probably the log-off message here.
Delta X-ray, Canaries Control. Cross Lima Alpha 400 at altitude 3000.
Okay, that is looking good. Tomcat 4 Lima X-ray descending, altitude 3000. And please confirm the waypoint again. Set. 3000 checked. Alright, so let's go ahead and start talking about the arrival. So threats for the approach, it's a non-precision approach. QNH blunder error is a possibility. We've already pre-selected the QNH from the ATIS, and we'll confirm it with ATC on the approach itself. Other than that, terrain is a bit of a problem. Weather is not, so I'm going to change over to the terrain display over here as well, which I see that you've already done. Perfect, and that's everything we got for the threats. Now let's go over the CDU. We got 250 below 100, the forecast page is filled out minus the QNH. Let's enter that real quick, even though it's not going to make too much of an issue anymore. And by the way, we're descending 3000, so set QNH please. And QNH 1022 is cross-check passing 12,000. Alright, just tell me, yeah, I forgot about the balance, okay, happens. So, factoring runway 36 are 10 miles and 4 miles, but the 4 is really just the minimum here, because at that one we want to be completely configured due to the nature of the approach here. Now, for the arrival, we got the Conda arrival, which leads us to Araco, and then out of Araco we are probably going to receive radar vectors for the NDB approach. Runway 36, starting at Charlie Quebec 36, which is 16 dB Bravo Victor in 4,500, and then descending to 3,400, and then at 8.5 dB we start on a 3.3 degree glide, which matches the FMS down to the missed approach point at 3.2 miles, and from there the missed approach is a right turn on 027 heading, which we got, and then radial 055 outbound La Palma. Okay, so fuel on arrival 3.9, minimum required is 3.1 for Gran Canaria, and we are going to burn 200 kilos, which makes a landing weight of 64.1, and we can take flaps 40 over here. Autobrake 3, which I've calculated earlier, gives us a stop margin of, yeah, around 400 meters. Alright, and that's all I got for this one. So, minimum is at 1600, we talked about the go-around, and that's it. Any questions? No? Perfect, that's our briefing completed. So, 10 checks. Fuel is balanced, 4 pumps on, lights on, angular bank 25, air cannon press, 3.6 descending set, fast modes on, recall check, 21.5. is deselected, and that's the 10 checks complete. Cannon crew 10 minutes to landing. Speed 250 knots, Tomjet for Delta X-ray. Tomjet for Delta X-ray, speed 250 knots. Okay, perfect. Then let's go ahead and help the plane a little bit to lose that energy. We don't have any clearance further than Araco, so let's ask. Tomjet for Delta X-ray, request radar vectors to final. And if they don't have radar vectors, then we will simply go for the self-positioning here.
Heading 195 vectors for the RNAV runway 36 approach.
Turn left, heading 195, Tomjet for Delta X-ray. Tomjet for Delta X-ray, request the NDB approach, runway 36. Alright then, with that delay vector we don't need any speed brakes anymore. Descending altitude 3000, Tomjet for Delta X-ray.
Tomjet for Delta X-ray, NDB approach, runway 36 is not available.
Of course it is.
Runway 36 approach.
No, I'm not going to change this. We are just going to do this. And well, if ATC doesn't want to give us that approach, then might as well just close same tensions here. Because I want to fly that approach. So let's turn right, heading 250, and then we'll do it without ATC. So So let's go down to 4.5, which is where the approach starts, and then we can quickly update that direct down here. That's looking good. So, LNAV, VNAV, and then let's fly that approach like that. Sometimes it's a little sad when Say Intentions wants to force you onto one particular approach, even though others are available. But, yeah, so be it. Okay, so, let's do the first check, please. So, frequencies, we got 389er for the NDB and 12.4, 12.4. Items Bravo X-Ray, Bravo Victor are both confirmed. So fixed rings, runway 36, 10 miles, 4 miles. Items are Bravo X-Ray, Bravo Victor, standby instrument set, and the courses 349, approach checklist. Altimeters and instruments, cross checked, approach rates, checked and set, approach checklist complete. Okay, beautiful. So we've done everything we had to. The cabin should be ready by now. That's 1,000 to go. Checked. Alright, and we start slowing down. Even though we can probably help a little bit with that, so... let's do vertical speed 300 here. That's just to help the airplane lose that airspeed, because otherwise we might be coming in a little bit too fast here. Speed brakes out, like it is on most approaches with the 737. But we're coming in nicely and steadily below the glide slope here, so that's actually good. Okay, flaps 1. Speed checked. Did we do the approach checklist? Altimeters and instruments, cross-checked, approach rates, checked and set. Approach checklist complete. And then you can have the vertical situation display, please. So we're crossing Charlie Quebec 36, and the waypoint has sequenced. Then we can go down to 3,400. And we'll do that with VNAV. So, flaps 5. Speed and event. And 170 is selected. So, VNAV is in approach logic now. That means that it is going to maintain that altitude until it intercepts the vertical path. Which is coming alive, and the field is inside on the 12 o'clock. So, progress page 4 on the FMS, because that gives us the vertical deviation and the lateral deviation. And here we are, the slope is coming in. This is purely based on the 3.3 degrees from the FMS now. So intercepting at 12 DME. Let's check our crossing altitudes. Starting at 8.5 DME, 3,400. Field is already inside up there. Approaching descent. 1,600 feet set, VNAV path, speed and event. And yeah, classical mistake of an Airbus pilot on the 737, keeping the speed brake out. The Airbus wants you, the 737 does not. So the wind makes this one easy going. Quite the headwind component here, 15 knots. So let's see, we're approaching 8.8 DME, and that should be 3,400 feet. 8.5, sorry. There we are, 8.5 and on glide. So here's the missed approach point. By that time I want to have all the checks and procedures completed. So let's work ahead a little. Clear to land, all that stuff comes on. Here we go. Okay, cool. So at 7 DME, 2,890 feet. Here's 7 DME and we are 30 high. DME, 2,540. And that's 60 DME and 2,570. Poppies are in sight now, so we can disregard the distance altitude checks. Current altitude 3,000 set. Alright, gear down, flaps 15. Landing checklist to flaps. Start switches, continuous, recall, check, speed brake, arm, green light, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake 3 set, holding at flaps. Flaps 25. Flaps 40. Speed checked, flaps 40. So, VRF plus 5 it is. Complete the landing checklist please. Flaps 40. 40, green light, landing lights on, landing checklist completed, crew seated, clear to land. So, recycle flight directors.
Approaching minimums.
Checked.
Minimums.
Continue. Okay, so everything is manual. Ooh. That was quite the speed loss. Checked. So, flaps 43 degrees, we're looking at 0 degrees pitch. And the gross weight should... No pull up here. Shut up. You can't be serious. Silence, thank you. So, nice and easy. The challenge will be to time the start of the flare correctly. Break up, thrust goes normal. So 82%. 80 knots.
Remaining.
Manual brakes. And here we are. Welcome to La Palma. Alright, let's make her nice and slow, then we can do a 180 over here, right on the runway. Without having to taxi all the way back to the turn pad. So, nice and slow. little bit of thrust on the outboard engine so that we don't stop in the turn. And here we are. Beautiful. So, after landing items. Didn't mean to hit the disengage bar. That was just fast fingers here. Cool, and then we can also turn the GPWS back on. Well, and with that, welcome to La Palma. That was definitely an interesting approach. I absolutely love these beautiful approaches you can fly here in the Canaries. Visuals on many of them, and then La Palma with the offset NDV approach is just fantastic. Really fun to fly that one. Hope you guys thought the same. So let's go ahead and get ourselves some GSX, please. Gate number 5, they said. No follow me needed, and handling by shipboard. Start APU. We're in Spain. I seriously doubt that they will have a ground power unit ready fast enough. So we'll do it with the APU. So we're looking for gate number 5. Here's 13, so we do have a little bit to taxi. We are on apron though, so let's go down to 15 knots. Like that. Perfect. Alright, reaching 3 minutes. Shutdown engine 2. That's just the anti-ice. That's okay. Right, approaching gate 5. Lights off. And here we go. Even though it is a 737 and not an A330, we do have to apply a little bit of oversteering here. But as you can see, that works really nicely. Alright, marshal is inside. And here we are. Two blue, one red, engines dead. Cabin crew, disarm slots, and cross-check. Alright, both engines below 20%. It's rather warm here, so let's keep the APU bleed going. 21 degrees, but direct sunshine onto the airplane, which is going to heat it up. Alright, transit shutdown checklist, please. Electrical on APU, fast mode's off, window heat off, probe heat auto, NEI's off, air compacts auto, engine bleeds on, APU bleed on, exterior light set, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down to 10, flaps up and light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CBICB in, and cockpit door unlocked. And that's the transit shutdown checklist completed. So, looks like they are trying to work on the jetway. Don't ask me what GSX is doing there. Set the trucks, please. And entry method is obviously going to be the jetway, so let's try that again. So, ground power unit can be requested. And, well, with all of that out of the way, I'd say welcome to La Palma. I do hope you guys enjoyed this flight as much as I did. Leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. Let me know how you like the PMDG 737 for Flight Simulator 2024 in these previews. And with all of that out of the way, I really hope that you guys are enjoying this one. So, as always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.